Ирина меня уже представила, то есть общее впечатление, я думаю, у вас уже есть. Наверное, оно и было до начала нашей презентации. Скажу пару слов о теме, которая вот сейчас будет представляться, и которая будет развиваться чуть позже.
And of our further roundtable discussion. Effective management, resource management is very important, not only for business owners, but for those who are participants of this process. There are a lot of representatives, not only from managerial staff here, but those freelancers as well.
Поднимите руки, если вдруг окажется. Есть один, есть, радует. Начну я свой рассказ, наверное, с краткого представления о компании «Янус». Оно уже прозвучало. Я хочу еще также добавить, что, к сожалению, Константин Адранч...
That unfortunately Konstantin Adranch is absent over here, but as a result of 2013 year work, we get the third position in the general rating, and that is very pleasant and good result for our company because we were working hard for gaining a good, successful result. And I hope that 2014 as well as the first years would be not only successful but also very profitable for us. Clicker stops working, so we are going further to the next segment with the help of Kirill, and that is the second slide. Янus company is represented in 5 countries, that is Russia. We have 3 offices over there. The headquarters is in Moscow and in St. Petersburg and in Tomsk. We also have our manager department the manager of our department showed me the number of 2,000 people. Our Kyiv department office was opened in 2008, and those projects are developed during 10 years. When I came to this company, that was in 2005, the projects, Ukrainian projects, were just existed at that time. There were such big amount of them that I was lucky to get the full-day job over there. Nowadays there are 17 people in Kyiv office. Konstantin, who started this blog, he told about the number of people and other financial numbers and indexes. Of course, there are formulas which you can use for counting those things. Our office, of course, has the STEM, which is the basis. Our manager is over here. He's smiling and trying to support me. We had editors. That is our army who deals with those who with the quality, and our translators. For the last year, we will analyze the result about speaking not about the numbers but words. We have dealt with more than 1.5 million words. There were a lot of projects of different themes and topics. Here you see the list of those possible topics. I would do that quickly. That is first of all the IT topics and texts, because the most number of companies are connected with IT technologies. The next line is localization, software localization, because this is also IT, but the specification of this topic comprise a big number of peculiar features and, of course, very high requirements to the translators. And I would like to stress that organization of software, that is also the part of our topics. Localization of web content. In the previous part, we had an interesting presentation with Sergei Gladkov, and those who had ever dealt with web content localization, all those understand the importance and the difficultness, like challenge of translating such a material. Today we speak a lot about very active development of game sphere, medicine as well. well, and we have to deal with those topics as well. Pharmacology as well. There is a big need in translation of information concerning medical equipment, and it's very difficult as well. Law and legal, bank. There are a lot of other topics, and 17 people in Kyiv and 239 people in all other offices. So that's not so much for covering all the projects. That's why we need the help of our freelancers. Yeah, and a beautiful effect, you see that. Freelancers. So freelancers, I would name them as suppliers, because I guess that we cannot to treat equally freelancers and suppliers, because we need the help not only of translators, but the editors, correctors, those who organize the text, engineers, and those who have to deal with marketing adaptation or have specialization in very thin spheres, very special spheres. And we have to understand to whom we can address and whom to ask to help for each product. Speaking about those suppliers, we need to mention vendor managers. Those are the people who work with suppliers in our sphere. The model which is used in our system is very well known. Maybe your companies are using something other, but whatever you name them, whatever function they act, any company which comprises more than 2 translators needs to gather and analyze the data of information, and vendor manager is the person who does that. That is a nucleus who is responsible for the relationship with the suppliers. Vendor management, and as any other department of any company and department, they are not working in a vacuum. We are working in a cooperation, and if you think that they work only suppliers and suppliers works only with vendor management, that's not in that way. They get a lot of different asks and requests about different projects that can be 100 words which are to be done in 1 hour, and to 1,000 words which can be dealt with during the month. They also have to deal with different projects and tenders which are current for the whole month, and in that case we have the request to our vendor management. Of course, his functions are very wide. I'm not going to describe them precisely, but if to get them together, there are 3 of them. That is the providing information to all the staff, speaking about the suppliers. If you need to translate Swahili to Spanish, so he would find the person who would do that. That is the way to provide the information about new informations and new people who can deal with the projects. That is also the constant analysis of what is going on. If there are the translators and suppliers who were dealing with demographers or something like that, and they don't have any kind of job because that is not actual and current, and in that case vendor management is to find something for them, like EKG equipment, and the last task for them is to find new suppliers. Each company has their own aims, and those aims either reached and achieved or not, we can analyze the efficiency of the events that are held in terms of company activities. As we are translation agency, first of all, so our main aim is a very high quality of translation. If we would say that, the quality depends only on the fact to whom we are going to give the translation, that's not right. Here you see several parts. I would speak about each of them, and here you see them in a general way. We will start from the first point. That is the start of work with new candidates. I guess that even the managers of language agencies and translation agencies know what is that to find, to look for a job, to apply for a job. I deliberately distinguished the fact of diffidence, the CVs, and checking them to be the real ones. Sometimes it happened that a person included a lot of software which the person can deal with, but in reality the person just doesn't know what to do with the simple terms. That's why vendor management have to deal with that and to find out all the necessary information to know that before dealing with covering the mistakes in the future. If the CV is really truthful, then we have the next stage, that is testing. Nowadays we have a lot of departments which are who are cooperating with vendor management, and the manager of a department, as INK for example, makes a request concerning the number of necessary suppliers. Testers are made, and then they are sent to those who are supposed to done them, and then vendor manager are supposed to check them. Those kinds of checks can be different. It depends on the kind of vendor manager who is going to get the job. I guess that each test is to be checked minimum by 2 people. Tomorrow we will speak about how to evaluate the quality, and I guess it would be very necessary to listen about those things. But I think that if 2 people look at that translation, the level of detecting the possible mistakes and the ability of the person really to do a good translation is higher. That is a good way to when the number of test translations. The expert check is connected with very specific translations, for example, dealing with oil and gas sphere. That is something connected with space technologies, because they are only developing nowadays. Aspects can also be included in this process, and even those suppliers can act as experts in that situation. We speak about the functions of any other staff like editors, correctors, and so on. So they also tested as well. Let us imagine that some imaginary supplier has done the first stage, and he's satisfied with the salary which is offered to him, and we start working actively. And vendor management is responsible as well here to help him. One of the most important tasks of the vendor manager is to monitor the level of workload which each supplier has. After having signed that contract with the vendor management, you're waiting for the translation. You are waiting months, a day in the month, but you don't get anything to do. We use a special system which is automatically detecting and analyzes a number of projects and suppliers who are dealing with them. Besides that, we also detect and monitor the quality, because we remember that our main aim is a very high quality translation. I suggest that each supplier has to get the recommendations and reviews concerning their work. And here, when the managers are also supposed to work, because that is their task to collect and to gather all possible reviews and to send them back to the suppliers. And RP system, which was mentioned above, helps us to do that as well. Sometimes it happens that we are not very satisfied with the work of our suppliers and just not wanting to cross the person out of our list. We try to improve our work. We create a special reports in which we try to describe a problem, for example, the 2-week delay, or there was no correction of the text. That is not in the way that I just don't like these suppliers. That's why I would like to give him the fee. That is all detected, collected, and saved in our system. And another one important thing, which is important for those who only start, but as well for those who work for a long time, that is a specialization of resources. When the person comes and starts working in IT sphere, sometimes he would understand that IT is a very wide sphere. Some people go to the website localization, other testing of mobile phones, others localization of interfaces, and so on and so forth, because we have to detect that very precisely, because the qualitative and successful works is only when that distinction is well done. A lot of words. I also wait for the pictures as you do that. I have already mentioned that unique system ERP, that is a system of managing resources in the company, and you'll see the pictures now, I promise you. This program helps to detect and monitor the work of translator in real time. There are a lot of staff and even more suppliers. Just to know who is doing what, you have to monitor and to detect the process. You need to know that just at the moment. I cannot remember how it was before. Nowadays that it is very easy. Just you have to press the button. We have our own internal rating. We try to make rating for staff, full-time translators, suppliers, and so on and so forth. That is useful for us, not for somebody else, because in that way we can evaluate our employers. That is not very important for suppliers, because as far as you remember, we send them only several reviews concerning their work. But this evaluation is also to be done, and it is not very good to do that separately in Excel or in a piece of paper. It has to be centralized, then you can at any moment just press the button and look what is that. Besides that,
Besides that, in order to easy the life for our project managers, this is the button, the magic button, which creates the demand for resources for this or that employer. Also, we are trying to improve the lives of our suppliers. We created automated demands for them, and we will see it on the picture later, but suppliers does not read the letters because with different colors, different letters, they receive the standard letter that is that corresponds the standard. Oh, finally we have a picture. This is the real picture of a real demand. Of real request. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I'll try to show it, to point on it. For example, we have an emergency to translate from English into Russian something from IT sphere. So we need the language to be native. We do not necessarily need the employee, but we still need our supplier to work. He could be able to work in Trados, and we would like this person not to be on vacations or occupied or busy with some other work, so we choose the active status. After we choose it, we press this the next magic button, and then we receive the letter with the suppliers list, and also we can see their prices. This question is also very important. We see their rating. Someone has 3, someone has 4, and we don't have 5s. Something's weird is going on, but still we can see in real time who is free right now. For example, if someone is occupied, for example, my colleague Stepanchuk occupied my colleague, and I know whom to call for this resource. And in this case, I don't have the necessity to take the resource. Irina, please, could you say how do you know if our freelance translator free, or we can know that if the translator informed it. We have our favorite translators who always informing. They always provide the information about their job, and correct me if I'm wrong, in this case vendor manager do it manually. This system can include the information can be added by everybody. For example, if I am informed that I have to perform that he cannot do translation from Italian into Russian, I will underline it, and it will be in this list. I will talk about that later, and for now, I forgive you. For now, unfortunately, the automation from the supplier's side cannot be seen. We will talk about its development later, and very often happens the situation when the freelancers are busy on the other projects. They say, for example, I have my family issues, my cat is pregnant or something else. They receive the vacations. So we are trying not to lose people, to follow their occupations, and if a person is always available, always green, we receive the question why. Hello, Boyark and Kirill. Please. Which is the detailization? Is it up to time, or it is? How is it stated in? How do you distribute the small projects? I would like to see. How can I understand from your system if I can give the job to employers? How do you know that? Here we can go to the next picture. Here you can see our system from the project manager's view. For example, I receive the project for 1,000 words. I give the demand, and instead of calling the vendor managers or calling the translators, I do it in the system. I underline the time of work. I'm not sure if you can see, but there we have the opportunity to post the time. For example, if there were 93 words, then the deadline will be the same day but few hours later, and the other managers can also determine which of the services does they need. They can choose the program, choose the deadline, and choose the language pair, and this created request, they send it to the vendor manager. Also, the commands can be added there. For example, I have the project for 95 words, and it is provided by for example, Petya Ivanov, and all this information goes to vendor manager. Besides, we can post the words quality. We can also try to choose the employer. We can write the email for our suppliers, and we can add the file to the letter in which there will be the text that, for example, Vanya Ivanov, Petya Pupkin will receive it, and he will reply, yes, I am doing it, or no. He will receive the automated request, but with the other data, the project data, because the deadline data will be changed for other manager, but still he even will be able to see the price that he will receive. We also have our bonus system, because we know that we can give the bonuses or can receive their fee for example, an hour of work. The vendor can see the letter, and he is able to reply. In order to save his time, he can just push the button and accept the request, like, yes, I am doing it, I'm translating this or that quantity of words, but still he can refuse with no explanations, because this is all up to him, it's individual, or he can say something like, I will do it, but for a few hours more, and then project manager receives the reply, and the project will be done. So something I wanted to say differs from something I was planning to talk, but still, let's go further. Except mentioned material. We also develop some new features for our suppliers. Unfortunately, we does not have that feature that Igor was asking about, but we are looking forward for doing that. Our suppliers receive the access to the portal where they can follow the date of their payment. So the way of receiving money is turning into the process of I think that the possibility but I will have something to tell in by 2015.
Besides, our suppliers also have the opportunity to say what they think about the managers they are working with, because those reviews are important, and the reviews not only about the work of suppliers, but we are interested in knowing what our vendors and suppliers think about how it is for them to work with us. That is really sometimes very interesting to know, and how it is for them, and to make several conclusions concerning that. And especially that it is connected with those who are our employees for a very long time and who suppose themselves to be very good. That's not only the ones cookies we have for our suppliers. We have a special system of motivation. I'm not going to talk precisely about motivation for suppliers. That is paying awards an part of a year. That is also presents for those who have good results during the work. That's also the loyalty program in our corporative information sets, where we can divide and share the information and about our employees, and to stress how they helped improve our achievements. And the next question, which was discussed today, and the example was 4 cups of coffee. All we remember the problems was dollars. All we know that with the experience, human also is worth of higher fees, and these programs of loyalty are also done for them. They are also easily detected in our systems, and those suppliers with whom I started working in 2008 can nowadays you can see nowadays what results they had during this period of time. I would also like to say that the very idea of efficiency and effective management and dealing with the staff is a huge system. It's hard to say that the company effectively manages, and that's all. That is a big process, and if the process stops, that means that there is a stagnation, and we cannot even mention progress at all. That's why I'm saying that all those work that was done and is doing even now, and I get the information last week, and I would get that information about RP system further next week as well. All those ideas which are shared by our programmers, our managers, our directors, and even our suppliers. That is a big process which demands all us to work and to show our efforts. I guess each person who wants to manage the staff effectively has imagination how to do that, and there is no recipe how to manage in a very efficient and successful way. Each person finds his own way to that result. I was just trying to show that in a very short and precise way about the methods we use in our company and in our office in Kyiv. And I'm talking about that not only because I am a director of Kyiv office. We do try to correct mistakes in our office, and as I promised to Igor, I would have a new topic next year. Maybe it would be a little bit other. In any case, thank you very much for your attention. I still have time for questions. Oh, a lot of questions. I'm frightened a little bit. Can I ask the first question? For the first, can we go back to the slide about the email request? As far as I understand, the whole process is organized and based on email. That is a letter, and then the person just presses a button, and that is the answer. And we have here the button to make an email to everybody. So is it to all 5 people? We are sending the email and we are waiting for the answer. The resource manager, project manager, what rule does he use to select the answers from the suppliers? Is that in that case that the first answer the first worker, or is he waiting for a very certain answer of a certain person? The secret is that all the procedures are proved and accepted. We have a certificate of our work, not to go in a very deep procedure. That is very individual. It depends on a project, first of all. If I don't know any one of those suppliers who answered, it can be in the way that the first who answered would get the project. If I had worked with them before, or I have any reviews concerning those, so of course I would wait for this certain who would do that. Okay, so for me more precisely, do you have any certain period of time which you can wait before choosing the project? The managers are supposed to get them in the way that the vendor, when the manager is to get the answer from the supplier, that is half an hour, 30 minutes. That is the strict rule for all suppliers, vendor managements, and so on and so forth. It's very quickly. So questions from the hall.
Good afternoon. Hello again. On your first slides, you said something about the numbers 1,500. Don't you have the mistake there? It is like 500 pages. Oh, I'm sorry. I think the full stop is not standing in the right place. Last year, as far as I know, we had less words. Yes, we are growing, but I'm sorry for that mistake. One more question. How many managers goes for that amount of work? Not only not only workers, but how many of them goes for the manager? This is my office and my managers, and the data for 2013, we had 5 managers. It is quite a tricky question for me because I cannot count the pages. Okay. I have the whole numbers. So one of my key responsibilities is to track the work of our managers in our office, so they can we distribute job between everybody directly, because I follow for our managers who were occupied and had their job done. And if I will see that someone is not working, I will look for the others. Okay, and one more question. Let's talk about system. This system is great, but why? But we does not. For example, the system does not show the work, who corresponds and who is in charge of which work. Some can use one or two translators, and the very interpreter is continuing to work on our other project. When we were choosing the class of the translators, we have the standard base. We know that this line goes for years. We have the translators who know this field, and each department, even in my Ukrainian area, there are stable resources which can be not only in the systems, they can be in Skype, Facebook. They are always available. We can call them even at midnight and talk to them about all the working issues. But we have our other workers, but still we do call our stable, our favorite translators. I wanted to tell about this in our previous slides, but the system allows, yes, the system allows to do that. There are fixed workers whom we can call. For example, I see that this or that worker is available on Skype, and then I do the request. And the last question: do you work with the freelancers? Yes, we do. I am talking on behalf of my director of office in Kiev, and from our company we stopped working with the contractors because in Ukrainian office we have only Ukrainian projects. We do not do Russian projects. We do not do any other projects. We just do Ukrainian projects. And other of our colleagues who can provide the translation into other languages, they can be they can use the services of the contractors. It is unfortunately I did not manage to post all of the screenshots that I wanted, but on the very picture where there is a class, there is the possibility to choose this information. You have this possibility. Thanks. Yuri. My name is Yuri. Oh, I'm sorry I called you Igor. Okay, you are forgiven. Irina, please say what is the maximum quantity of projects that you can hold per day? It depends on the project and on how big is the project, because there are projects, 1 million projects, and there are small projects which we were talking about. Okay, I'll ask my question once more. We are talking about the project where there are 1, 2, or 3 projects. Okay, Vika, how many projects will you do? More than 10, I suppose. I think that 30, I think it is totally possible, because we can do other projects, parallel projects, which I can distribute or which I can group in one one big request and then send it to the contractors. Okay, but I think that 30 is a quite huge number. Okay, I'm a tyrann, and what is your system of bonus system? Because there are workers that do more work and less work. What are the criteria? First of all, this is the quantity of done projects, finished projects. It depends on words in the project, and of course the quality, because a person can work with us twice, for example, per month, but still he does his work, the excellent work, and then he can be rewarded. So we have 2 points due to which we can give the rewards to our workers. And one more question, please. You had the opportunity to give the feedback about the work of the PM, and how often do you receive those testimonials, and how relevant are they? They are, in this world, everything is quite subjective. Everybody has its own opinion because someone has posted the wrong letters or the wrong color chosen, and the opinions differs. Sometimes if there are complaints about the work, about the timing, I give the fees. Okay. 6 questions. We have 6 questions. Okay. But timing. Everybody is waiting in Moscow for us. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry that we are not able to. You can ask me after the round table, and I will be glad to answer all your questions. Let's briefly one more. Olga Translenko, I have a question. You told that the necessity to call to workers. How do you contact those who are in London? For example, he's English language speaker, native speaker. You see, we have this information in English. I will show you the secret. During the Sochi Olympics, our contractors worked 24 hours, and if we needed to wake up our American at midnight, we had the opportunity to do that. So sometimes it happens, and we do that. Hello, Ruslana, Linguistic Solutions Pro. How do you evaluate the rating, and if there is any rating below the lowest? You mean the testing rating or real work rating?
So manager, first of all, evaluate the quality of the work. When we send the feedback, we see the result, and that feedback can be sent by the editor, supplier, or proofreader. According to this, to the 5-point system, we built the rating. There is no such border which predetermines that this person is bad too, that one is doing good. We are reading the comments, the reviews, and trying to guess what is the reason. We cross out the person from the database, or just is put into the blacklist after several bad reviews. So that is a critical situation when everything is very bad, and that's not about the quality, just about the delays, not being in the deadline. He wasn't a specialist in any. So when the person just says that he is a specialist in this sphere, but is not able to work at all, only in that cases we take a lot of measures.